place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dupes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so hello, Jeff ATL. Deronda's in the house. Mel G from the land. It's Bree to you. All right, Karima is here. All right, let's get into it. Nessa G, Jeff ATL, 504 NOLA. Leon is in the house. All right. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Desmond. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Nessie X is in the house. Okay, so hey, we the people. Let's get into it. But before we do, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it because today we're going to talk about the Cubans and how they've gotten their wake-up call. All right, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Don't forget to like and share. Also, if you have not been receiving notifications, please double check to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. You all know how it goes. Sometimes people mysteriously become unsubscribed. Okay, so now let's talk about what's going down. Because Trump is having even the Cubans mass deported. And, I know that they're shocked And we'll get into why in just a little bit. And so let's talk about this new poll. Okay, a new poll reveals warning signs for Trump with Latino voters. A survey from the liberal-leaning group Somos Votantes shows Latino voters are souring over the president. Well, I find this all interesting, don't you? Don't you all find this interesting that they're souring over the president? I mean, I absolutely find it, interesting because they were so excited about him at first. So thrilled. Okay, Latinos for Trump. Isn't that what they were singing? And so let's get into it. President Trump's approval is plummeting with Latino voters. A voting bloc Republicans are betting on as they fight to maintain their tenuous hold on the House next year. Now, Trump's favorability is underwater by 20 points with the demographic, according to a poll obtained by Politico and commissioned by the liberal-leaning Latino voter group Somos Votantes. And so the shifts among subgroups paint an even starker picture for the GOP. Among men, Trump's favorability fell from 52% in May to just 47% in September. That's with the men. And with young voters, another segment of Trump's 2024 base, the president's approval dropped to 33% in September from 43% in May. Now, what began earlier this year with independents and women has really intensified and spread to basically every demographic subset of the Latino electorate, including groups that once leaned toward him, like Latino men. Okay, and this is according to Melissa Morales, the group's president, pointing out last quarter's polling, saying this won't automatically translate to support for Democrats, but there is a huge opportunity to turn what was a liability into a positive, she says. There is an opportunity here for Democrats to show an alternative. So few demographic groups are as coveted and changing as Latino voters, many of whom skew conservative in their social values and aided the GOP in its takeover of Washington last year. But Democrats who have been hemorrhaging voters are hoping economic concerns during the first year of Trump's second term will drive Latinos back into their camp. Now, the fight for Latino voters is playing out in Texas, where much of the GOP-controlled state's redrawn congressional map will rely on getting them to keep swinging for the GOP in House races. So Trump's approval rating on the economy, well, a top issue for Latinos. That's also dropped significantly with just 36 points of those polled supporting Trump's handling of it. And then only 25% of independents gave Trump high marks on the economy. Global strategy groups conducted the national poll of 800 Latino voters from August the 26th through September the 4th, and it has a 3.5% margin of error. Now, despite the sirens, Republicans remain bullish on holding on to Trump's gains next year, pointing to recent polling that shows Latinos also do not harbor favorable views of former President Kamala Harris and California Governor Gavin Newsom, both high-profile Democrats from California. Now, that poll done by Fox News and released on Friday has a smaller split of Trump's favorability, with 48% approving of him. And so the Democrats are desperate to spin a false narrative about Hispanic voters, but the reality is simple. Republicans continue earning their trust while Democrats have been losing it for years. This is what the National Republican Congressional Committee spokesperson Mike Marinella said, who also called the Somos-sponsored survey a junk poll that proves Democrats have no message, no leader, and no plan to stop Hispanic voters from moving toward Republicans. Now, pollster Rosa Mendoza said the survey captures a distinct disconnect between what Hispanic and Latino voters want Congress and this administration to be focusing on versus what they're seeing them focused on. Republicans have long insisted Latino voters are fundamentally conservative, and previous cycles show that the group is steadily moving rightward. Previous Democratic strategies have hinged on turning states in the South and West blue. But much to the chagrin of those strategists who believed even Texas would flip in their favor. Trump recorded his widest victory yet in 2024, thanks in part to the significant swings among Latino voters. Democrats are nevertheless confident that if Latino voters are turning against Trump, they will also turn from the GOP in next year's midterms. Voters are really equating Republicans and Trump as one of the same. Okay, that's what Morales says. They're equating Republicans and Trump as one is the same. Let me tell y'all something. Now, some of these people, hey, S. Cooper, okay, some of these people are turning on Trump. You know, they're online complaining, begging the Black community for help, you know, saying that we're the ones who are getting them deported and all kinds of crazy stuff. When in fact, we have nothing to do with it. But some of them are still stuck on stupid and staying with the Republican Party. And I find it all very interesting because they're getting kicked out of here. And, you know, it looks like they found their wake-up card, their wake-up call. And here's the thing. There is one story in particular where this young lady has been online begging and pleading to anyone who listen about her sick father who has stage 4 colon cancer, unfortunately, and he's about to be deported, and he's lived here for years. Okay, and he's about to be deported. And so she was asking for people's help, and she had a GoFundMe and all that up, and then people went digging. And come to find out that she voted for Trump. So people were like, girl, you voted for Trump and you want us to help you? Sorry. This is buyer's remorse that I keep telling you all about. Here's the thing. Now, the reason she claims that she voted for Trump really didn't make any sense to me and to a lot of other people. So let's talk about her reason first and foremost. Because if you know that your father is here illegally, even if it's not you, if it's somebody in your family, why would you vote against their best interest? Like, that's crazy. You don't care about them. You don't care about yourself, because plenty of these people vote against their own best interest. If you're an immigrant, why would you vote for Trump? Okay, even if you're here legally, because you never know what that fool's going to do. And as we can see, they've already, you know, deported people who were legal. One of them, a 2-year-old. We'll talk about that shortly. But let's talk about why this woman claims she voted for Trump. So someone asked her about it. They said, I'm so sorry of what you're going through. As a Black immigrant, I noticed that you reposted Trump and RFK. Did you think it was only us they were deporting? Why did you vote this way? Oh, yeah, that's what she thought. She thought it would be anybody other than her and her folks. She says, thank you. And you have every right to ask. To be honest, I only voted for Trump because I supported RFK's health views and believed in his message about making America healthier. When RFK dropped out, I made a decision without fully informing myself on Trump's plans, especially around immigration. That was my mistake. I didn't realize how deeply it would affect families until now. I'm owning that and speaking up, because no one should have to go through what we're going through right now. I'm sorry. She says that she didn't inform herself about Trump's plans around immigration, but you're a whole immigrant, so's your father, an illegal one at that. Yeah, that makes no sense. And then she said that she initially was going to vote for Trump because of RFK's health views. That makes no sense either, because the bottom line is whether or not you like some policy or something that, you know, one candidate is doing, and then you may like something that another candidate is doing, what you're supposed to do is vote in your best interests. And you being an immigrant, knowing that Trump was already promising mass deportations. It's not like it was a secret. He told everyone what he was going to do. And so for these people who voted for him to now be sitting here crying and whining, you know, when the phone call was clearly coming from inside the house, makes no sense to me. Now, here she is on this video I'm going to show you. This is a clip of her in a video. The young woman, she calls herself Cynthia the Hot Mom. And she's basically listening to what's going on with her father's case at the hearing.
Being human, about love, connection, and presence. The one thing he needs the most is the one thing that we're being kept from giving him, which is us. I feel that it would be immoral and inhumane to let a man who is suffering, who is terminally ill, spend what little time he has left in pain and isolation. Please don't let him die in a cell. Please don't let his final memories be of those of pain and isolation. The American flag stands for compassion, kindness, liberty, and justice for all. We're all human, and today I'm asking for one human act of compassion to please let my dad come home.
Yes, to both of you ladies on the line, thank you for staying with us and providing your testimony. It's a difficult position for us and for y'all. However, I've listened to your testimony carefully. My vote, again, is to deny the request for conditional medical release. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, though.
I listened very closely to your statement, and you used the words that the American flag represents compassion, kindness, liberty, and justice. And those are all the things that we have to take into consideration, both on behalf of the citizens of our state as well as the person whose case we're hearing. And we make these difficult decisions. And so I am going to continue with my previous vote, which was to deny the request for conditional.
So as you can see, his claim was denied basically, and like I said, she knew Trump's racist tactics and talking points and rhetoric. She knew all of that. She knew that he was promising to have mass deportations, but yet she voted for him. See, here's the thing that gets me about people like this. And then they specifically want to turn to the Black community. You didn't have our best interest in mind. You knew that Trump is racist. And you voted for him anyway. Now you want to sit here and cry wolf, or you want to come running to us to help? No, we can't bail you out. And here's the thing. Let me just tell you all something in case you didn't know. There is a very specific reason for why so many Cubans, have voted for Trump, because they never thought it would be them. They never thought they would be the ones being deported. And do you know why? Does anybody know why the Cubans didn't think they would be deported? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, here's the thing. They had this wet foot, dry foot policy in the United States. They've had it for quite some time. It was adopted in 1995. Okay, so Cuban nationals who reached U.S. soil dry foot could stay and apply for adjustment of status, but those intercepted at sea, wet foot, were typically returned. Now, also, under the Cuban Adjustment Act of 1966, Cubans who were inspected and admitted or paroled into the U.S. could apply for lawful permanent residence after 1 year. So that's why there are so many Cubans here, specifically in Florida, as you all know. They've been coming here for decades. Some of them were granted political asylum. Okay, so they never expected any of this to happen and affect them. So on January the 12th of 2017, near the end of his presidency, Barack Obama, and yes, I said Obama, because he did Nathan for people who look like me. Now, he announced that the U.S. would end the wet foot, dry foot policy. He actually said, effective immediately, Cuban nationals who attempt to enter the United States illegally and do not qualify for humanitarian relief will be subject to removal. So he took that away from them. I guess they thought that it would never actually be used against them. See, this change then meant that Cuban migrants arriving without a visa or legal entry would now be treated like any other unauthorized migrant, i.e., in many cases, subjected to expedited removal, just like everybody else. So, yeah, the answer to the question that the African asked, did you think it would only be us? Yeah, that's exactly what she thought. That's exactly what she thought when she voted for Trump. And look at her now. Her sick father, who unfortunately has end-stage colon cancer, or stage 4 colon cancer, is being sent up out of here. And her vote is one that helped to send him up out of here. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. Now, the Cuban Adjustment Act was not repealed by this move. When they basically changed it, when Barack basically said, you're not going to be able to come here without a visa or coming without legal entry. You're going to be treated like anybody else that's a migrant illegally here. That didn't affect the Cuban Adjustment Act. That was not, that wasn't repealed by that move. So Cubans who legally entered, they remained eligible under the act, but the automatic reach of U.S. soil and stay rule was eliminated. Okay. And so for Cuban nationals arriving illegally, the change means that they lost their guarantee, because they had one, that simply reaching U.S. soil gave them automatic protection. For those entering legally, whether if they had a visa, parole, inspection, the Cuban Adjustment Act path remains the shortcut of just arriving. That was removed. Okay, that was all removed. Now, the Obama administration framed this as moving toward normalizing how Cuban migration is handled, bringing it more in line with how migrants from other countries are treated. Okay, so this is why they're being deported. And this is why they're shocked and appalled. And this is why I said they got their wake-up call. Because for decades, they've been able to just, come here as long as they touch soil, just stay. And there's another thing too. Some of them have gotten themselves in a bit of a kerfuffle because they came here initially and they were granted political asylum because they came here saying, when you apply for political asylum, you have to tell them, because they're going to ask you, why are you here? Was there danger in your company? Was your life threatened and things like that? And so you're basically saying that you fear for your life was in danger, that's why you fled. So you're attesting to all of this. Well, here's the thing. About 50,000 of them, at least, about 50,000 Cubans are being deported. They're preparing them to be deported because they went and visited Cuba after they were granted political asylum. You can't do that. See, if you come here asking for political asylum and you're talking about that you fear for your life in your country and you had to flee and people were out to do things to you and it was dangerous for your safety, why would you go back and visit? Why would you go back and visit? So now they're about to deport these people. And the sad thing is, these are not young Cubans. These are elders who've been here 40 and 50 years. These are people who own businesses and homes, have so many connections because they've been here for decades. They've established themselves. This is home to them. And they're being shipped out of here. And guess what? They're not being shipped back to Cuba. They're not being shipped back to Cuba because Cuba's not taking them. Cuba's not taking them. Now, you know that the United States and Cuba has a strained relationship, and they're not taking them. And the reason these people are being sent up out of here is because at some point they committed a crime. It could have been decades ago, whatever. But the fact that they committed a crime, some of them are being sent up out of here because of that. Like I said, whether they're law-abiding citizens now, business owners, or whatever, they don't care. And like I said, many of these people are older people, and they're being shipped up out of here. Cuba's not taking them, so where are they going? Well, I'm so glad you asked. To Mexico is where they want to send them. Because they say they were granted asylum under false pretenses. Okay, some of them are being shipped out of here because they've committed crimes. Some of them are being shipped out of here because they went back to Cuba just to visit for a week or two or however long. So they're saying, you don't need political asylum from us. There's no danger for you and your country. Because if it were, you wouldn't have gone over there to visit. So now they're deporting these people. Isn't that something? It's amazing, right? But that's what it is. And like I said, many of these people voted for Trump because they didn't think it was going to happen to them. And that's why it's hard for me to have sympathy for them. I feel just a little bit sorry, but at the end of the day, I feel more sorry for the children that are being negatively impacted by this. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for people who didn't give a darn about you and your people, and so they voted against your interest, okay, and even against their own. That's the epitome of foolishness, okay? That's the epitome of foolishness. And as I said, they deported a 2-year-old citizen. Let's talk about that. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
The Trump administration deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen in what the judge said with no meaningful process. The judge who's asking for answers about how and why this happened. a U.S. citizen, 2 years old, deported to Honduras. Now you may see that and think, all right, the child's parents were both deported. So of course they sent the child with the parents and that's how this happened. No, the father is here. The 2-year-old's father is in America, lives in America, not being deported, trying to keep the child here, and the child was sent with the mother back to Honduras. Anyway, the father has been attempting to contact the girl's mother to discuss plans for their child, but ICE officials denied him the chance to have a substantive phone call. He says ICE allowed the two to speak for about 1 minute on Tuesday while the mother was in ICE custody, but that they were unable to make any meaningful decision about the child. And they're claiming that there's a letter written in Spanish that was by the mother expressing that she wanted the child to go with her, but no one's been able to confirm that. Like the judge is like, let me talk to the mother. Trump administration said, you can't. She's already gone. She's on a plane. Can't talk to her. And then when they got there, you can't talk to her now. She's off in Honduras somewhere. We don't know where she is. Her and this U.S. citizen that we put on a plane and sent out of the country. Oh, just in case anyone out there is like, oh, it's these liberal judges, they just don't like Trump because of, yeah, Doherty, that's the judge in this case. Sharp criticism of the Trump administration is particularly notable because he issued a series of major decisions in favor of Trump and his allies in recent years. He's a Trump guy, and even he has to be like, this is not right. But as if that wasn't bad enough, how about this? Immigrant children, even toddlers, often have to represent themselves in immigration court.
Are you a little nervous this morning? See? Do you understand what these proceedings here in court are all about? Do you know what a lawyer is?
The reason we're here is because the government of the United States wants you to leave the United States. The judge told a group of about a dozen children during a virtual hearing, it's my job to figure out if you have to leave. The judge says that the number of unaccompanied children in her court without a lawyer has gone from 30% to 60%. In the U.S. immigration court system, individuals, including unaccompanied migrant children, do not have a right to a government-appointed counsel. While they're entitled to hire an attorney at their own expense, there's no provision for free legal representation, even for minors. But guess what? The U.S. has an attorney there. There's an attorney representing. The Trump administration deported a 2-year-old.
And that's extremely sad. Okay, that's extremely sad. But these are the things that are happening. And unfortunately, like I said, many of the people being negatively impacted by all of this are some of the same people that voted for Trump. I know they have to feel so betrayed, so let down. But you know, at the end of the day, they made the decision.
Otherwise, when we asked about his family, the emotions were just too much.
I feel bad, you know, that I'm not with them, like providing what they need.
How are you?
Good.
Eric.
Miguel.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
U.S. Congressman Eric Swalwell, who represents the Livermore area, flew down to Mexico City to meet with Miguel.
The way he's been treated is just awful, and it's not the way that you treat somebody who wants to contribute to our country.
Removing the invaders is not just a campaign pledge, it's my solemn duty as Commander-in-Chief. I have an obligation to do it.
Miguel was here illegally to begin with. Why are you fighting for his right to stay?
Miguel represents the best of America. He came here chasing an American dream, and he didn't take anything from us. He gave to his community. And now he's been ripped apart from his family, sent to a place he doesn't know. And what I want people to know is that there's thousands of Miguels right now out there who are living this, nightmare.
President Trump promised to deport 1 million people a year, targeting violent criminals first. But as ICE agents conducted raids all over the country, they soon began detaining people who'd only committed non-violent offenses, and those with jobs, families, and deep roots.
We've been working on getting dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens out of our country. Murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, human traffickers, going out, arresting them, and removing them from our communities so that our families can be safe again at night.
We also reached out to Homeland Security to get a statement regarding Miguel's case. They told us he is, quote, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico, has had a final order of removal from an immigration judge since 1996. Lopez's criminal history includes a conviction for driving under the influence. Lopez exhausted all due process and legal options to remain in the U.S. After nearly 29 years of appeals and delays, ICE deported Lopez on June 6, 2025.
And nobody signed up for this. Americans wanted the worst offenders in our community to be deported. They didn't want the best contributors like Miguel to be separated from their families.
But in his case, that's exactly what happened, teaching Rosa a hard lesson, that the only emotion more powerful than love is loss.
Just everything's very different. How empty our home feels without him. And this man works so hard, and I'm like, this is so unfair. He's like, I feel like I'm failing you guys. I'm like, you're not. You're not. It's not you. I know you've done everything for us, and at the moment you can't. Now it's my turn to do everything for you.
What are you going to do if he really isn't going to be allowed back?
I don't think about that. I think he's going to come home.
Otherwise, when we asked about his family, the emotions were just...
What a sad story. What a very sad story. But, here's the thing. This is absolutely sad, but here's the thing. It's interesting that many of the Latino community members are saying that we, Black folk, that we didn't support them. But you know what the problem with that is? They didn't support themselves. They didn't support themselves. Okay, please pay attention, because they voted against other immigrants because they thought they were going to be good. So they didn't care about their own people. So for them to try to point the finger of blame and shame at us makes no sense. Okay, because they're immigrants and they voted for Donald Trump, who said he was going to do mass deportations. They have family members and loved ones who are also immigrants, and you still voted for Trump. You didn't care about your own people, so don't get mad at us. Okay, because if they had ever at any given moment said that Trump's going to be deporting Black people, okay, Trump's going to be deporting Black people who are not from here. Would we go out there and vote for Trump? Those of us with sense go out there and vote for him? He said he's deporting Black people. Just because, Black people who are here legally, but they may not be from here initially. All right. We'd have better sense, I would hope. Most of us, except for those Black MAGAs that were rapping about Trump and all that. But I'm just saying, for the most part, we should have better sense than that. And because, like I told you all, the stuff they're doing to those immigrants, they might try it with us. Okay, who knows what they'll do. All right, but anyway, let's talk about this Marine whose father was deported by ICE. I mean, even the military isn't safe. The service members out here fighting to protect and defend this country. Anybody can get it. It's all I'm saying, according to Trump.
ICE story out of Camp Pendleton, Southern California. A U.S. Marine's parents have been grabbed by ICE. The father is deported. They're here legally. He's a Marine. They nabbed him on base, kicked him out. So the story here is about Steve Rios. He is a Marine. His parents came here illegally 30 years ago. And his parents basically urged him to join the military to give back to his country. He did. He's a U.S. citizen. And he then had the parents apply for a green card legally. They're now legally in the system. They're no longer illegal. Okay, they got work permits. They're working legally, right? They're paying their taxes. They're now trying to get their green card, again, in the process. They're visiting the military base because his sister's husband is also a Marine. Visiting the military base with his parents, and ICE grabbed them, arrested them, asked them why. ICE won't say why. They have no criminal background, simply came to the country illegally. Fair enough, 30 years ago. But they're not illegal anymore. They're legal now. No criminal background. Parents of a Marine, current Marine, and on the Marine base, they arrest him. This goes against everything Trump has said about supposedly they were only going to get people here that were criminals. Now they don't care. ICE was asked for a statement and said, well, we go after people who are criminals and also anybody who's here illegally. So now the standards changed. Now they're going after mom and dads of U.S. Marines. A horrific ICE story out of Camp Pendleton, Southern California. A U.S. Marine's parents have been grabbed by ICE. The father is deported. They're here legally.
Like I told you all, anybody can get it. They absolutely do not care. Okay? That's what they don't. And yeah, ICE is doing the most, honey. Absolutely doing too much.
Marine invited her parents onto a California military base to see her before she gave birth. And guess who was there waiting? ICE. Moments after hugging their daughter, her dad was detained and deported. A Marine's father, gone, from the same base where she served this country. A man that had lived in the U.S. for years, no violent record. His daughter wears the uniform, and ICE still dragged him out like a criminal. According to AP, they intercepted the family at the checkpoint. The mother was released, but the father was immediately sent across the border, and all of this happened in front of a Marine who begged them to stop. Even military advocates are calling it a disgrace. They're saying if the families of service members aren't safe from this kind of treatment, who is? We call them heroes. We wave flags on holidays, but when their families need compassion, the government sends agents instead. A U.S. Marine invited her parents onto a California military base to see her before she...
Okay, so this is the harsh reality of these people who voted for this crazy man. I don't know how they didn't think it was going to happen to them, but also, sad to say, Black folk are getting deported and being sent to places they've had no business to, they have no connection or ties to. This is not even a joke or a game. It's really crazy. Hold on, let's get into it. Yep. Here we go. True story.
7-year-old black man just got deported, and he literally was born on a freaking U.S. base. Now I know y'all like, how the hell he get deported and he was born on a damn U.S. base? So his father was sent to Germany. His father was a U.S. soldier. He was sent to Germany, and so of course the mother went with the father to Germany or whatever, and they were living on the American base where they were stationed at in Germany. Well, he happened to be born 37 years ago on the damn base. And back then, Germany did not give him no citizenship. And the U.S., well, apparently he says he never knew that he was not a citizen until he got a misdemeanor for having his damn dog tied up to a tree. And then they shipped his ass right out here. So at first they sent him to Germany, y'all. Germany said he's not a citizen here. The U.S. says he's not a citizen here. So guess what they did? They sent his ass to Jamaica because that's where his dad is originally born. And now he's been in Jamaica for 5 months. And guess what, y'all? Jamaica is ready to put his ass out too. Literally. And so I'm like, how the hell does this even happen? He literally has no citizenship nowhere. And the U.S. won't give it to him, even though he was born on a U.S. base. Tell me what y'all think about this shit, and make sure y'all follow for more.
Okay, now how crazy is that? They sent that man to a whole nother country. Okay? Sent that man to a whole nother country, and he doesn't even belong there. Oh, so nefarious. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
This is Jermaine Thomas. Jermaine was just deported to Jamaica, a country he's never been to. Jermaine is the son of a U.S. Army soldier who served nearly 20 years in the U.S. Army. Jermaine was born in 1986 when his father was serving in Germany. Jermaine was born on a U.S. Army base in Germany. Son of a U.S. citizen, Army soldier, who served nearly 20 years in the Army. But the United States of America has decided that Jermaine Thomas is not a U.S. citizen. He's not a citizen of Jamaica. He's not a citizen of Germany. He is a man without a country. I encourage you to read this article. I want you to hear what he says he was thinking as he's on this plane being deported to Jamaica. He says, "I'm looking out the window on the plane. and I'm hoping the plane crashes and I die. Let me just review this one more time. Jermaine Thomas, born in 1986 on a U.S. Army base in Germany. His father, who was born in Jamaica but became a U.S. citizen. So his father was a U.S. citizen who served in the Army nearly 20 years. I want you to imagine that for a moment. Imagine that you gave 20 years of your life to serving your country in the military. While you were serving, your child was born as you were overseas serving on a U.S. military base. And then years later, that country that you served for nearly 20 years decides that your child is not a U.S. citizen and needs to be sent out of the country. This is what our country has become. This is what's going on in the United States of America today. And if you're okay with this, I'm not okay with you. This is Jermaine.
All right, so you all heard this, and didn't I tell you all this was going to happen, honey? Black folk going to be shipped up out of here. Y'all thought it was a game? Y'all thought I was being overly dramatic and just saying and doing too much? Now look at here. Here we have it. Here we have it. They done sent this man to Jamaica, a place he's never lived in his life. He wanted to die in a plane crash rather than go there. Imagine if that were you or somebody in your family. Just to think about that. That would be crazy. I can't even imagine. Queen Sam said you can't make this ish up. You sure can. But I told you all, y'all don't listen. Y'all be thinking the queen's doing too much. But listen to this. A wife in Arizona says her husband, Army veteran, could face deportation. And this man is from Trinidad, and his name is Marlon. Just like Marlon Brown from Trinidad, who was on here for that bull crap that we called a debate.
Is about to detain me.
A man named Marlon Paris. He's originally from Trinidad and Tobago, arrived in the U.S. as a minor in the late 90s. Marlon went on to join the Army and served in Iraq early in the war. He is a legal, permanent resident of the United States. His family says he served time in prison for a nonviolent felony drug charge. His wife shared with us a letter they say they got from ICE and the Department of Homeland Security, and it says that Marlon would be allowed to stay in the country. They got that in 2016. Well, last month, on January 22nd, Marlon was detained by ICE.
They have no reason as to why he is still in custody. I have went in front of senators here in Arizona. We have reached out for support. We voted these people into office. They should, of course, be able to assist us in this matter. No one is able to give us a definite answer as to why my husband is still in custody a month later, when, of course, all of the facts state that he has every right to be here, specifically from the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, the same people who are detaining him currently. He's like, ICE is about to...
Also nefarious, okay? That's real crazy. Like I said, and some of these people voted for Trump, okay? I believe Marlon Brown, the one that did that debate with me, I think he voted for Trump. He sure likes him. Okay, so this is all crazy. And he's an immigrant. Why would you ever? Okay, so Mia says, BS. He only joined for the benefits. My father and grandfather served during actual war times in combat. So many others didn't do ish, but get a trip to Germany or somewhere during non-war times. Well, Maya, shout out to your grandfather and your father for being in actual combat. Okay, my uncle was in actual combat too in Iraq. But here's the thing, beloved. When people join the military, they never know when a war is going to break out. Now, some people join during a time of a current war already there. But, you know, some people, when they join, they don't know when there's going to be a war, if there's going to be a war. So it's not like these people are cowards. They still join knowing that they could be sent to war at any given time because wars are unpredictable. Looks like Trump's trying to start one right now, if you ask me. So I wouldn't say that they didn't do it, beloved. Okay, just because your family fought in actual combat, that does not mean that other people who joined aren't equally as courageous. Okay, let's not do that. Let's not disparage others. All right. I mean, because at the end of the day, they joined knowing that there's a risk that they would have to fight. Okay, so with that all being said, everyone please hit the like button. Please like and share. And I got to tell you all something about your favorite, Ted Cruz. Don't y'all love him? We got to talk about him in a second. But first, let's talk about these 4 Cubans that got deported. So sad. Oh, well, I can't show it. I have to log in, and I don't feel like doing that. So skip over that one. Hold on. Now, here is an illegal arrest. ICE is trying to take this man into custody. They don't have a warrant. They don't know who the man is. They're just going off of the fact that he's at an he's there for an ICE for a hearing, okay, for an immigration hearing. He's come on his own accord. So why they're harassing this poor man is unknown to me.
Don't have confirmation of who he is, so you can leave him alone. He's gonna remain silent. You have no arrest warrant either, so let's go. Let's go. Let's see the arrest warrant then. You don't have a right to let go of him. Let go of him. Where's the arrest warrant? You don't have to talk to him. Yes, he's not going to talk to you. He's going to stay quiet. He's not going to say anything. You have no confirmation of anything. This is the 3rd time pushing down the elevator to go down, and you're preventing us to go downstairs.
As an attorney, I can tell you unequivocally that this is an illegal arrest. And it is happening in front of the lawyer too. And the lawyer is calling out the illegal arrest as it happens so that she has documentation later when she files a suit. I promise you, and it's happening everywhere in the United States. These people had no probable cause. The immigrant, I'm assuming he's an immigrant, was there for a hearing. Obviously, that's why he's with an attorney. So they are complying the law, and their compliance with the law. They are represented by an attorney, and they are being arrested without a warrant. Law enforcement has an obligation to show you a warrant for that person's arrest. And not only that, but it can also be considered as an arrest because they're not allowing the lawyer to leave. They're blocking the elevator, and they are not identifying themselves with the legal representation. This is like very scary. ICE has been empowered to engage in illegal arrest and an illegal practice of law enforcement everywhere in the United States. And it is important for us, for attorneys, for people in general on the internet, for citizens, to record and document all of this, because when Trump loses, and if he loses power and we manage to get power back, all of these ICE agents need to be arrested. And we're gonna have like a gigantic 2-year trial, like Nuremberg with the Nazis. This is how bad this country is getting.
Yeah, it is getting pretty bad, you know, and guess what? Who's to blame for it? I mean, if the people being deported are the same people, like I said, their people voted for this clown named Donald J. Trump. Okay, so this is nothing more than buyer's remorse. Okay, that's all it is. Don't cry now. Is all I'm saying. Don't cry now, because they brought this on themselves. Sad to say, it's true. Now, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ted Cruz. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. So here's the thing. Ted Cruz, right? Now, he wants to end birthright citizenship. He says it encourages illegal immigration and birth tourism is what he calls it. And he's publicly supported ending the policy and even co-sponsored a bill this year to restrict birthright citizenship for children that are undocumented or children of undocumented immigrants and those on temporary visas as well. And I find that interesting. Now, he stated that the policy doesn't make sense and acts as a magnet for illegal immigration. And he argues that it's a poor policy to incentivize people to break the law. That's what he says. He's long expressed his support for ending the policy, by the way, and has been vocal about it since at least 2015. So that's a whole decade. In January of this year, he co-sponsored the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2025 with Senators Lindsey Graham and Katie Britt. The bill aims to restrict birthright citizenship for the children of illegal immigrants and those on temporary visas. So why did I say all of that? Because here's what I find so interesting. Here's what I find so interesting about this whole thing. Isn't Ted Cruz an immigrant himself? Yikes. Isn't he Cuban? Oh, that's right. I forgot. The Cubans don't think or didn't think that they could ever be deported. So Ted Cruz was never worried about anything pertaining to his people. But now he sees his people being deported and he still doesn't seem to give a crap. And he even wants to ban or to end birthright citizenship. That's interesting because that's how he got here. That's how he got here. Let's talk about it. See, these people are nothing but hypocrites, and they are full of contradictions and nothing but low down nefarious devils, in my opinion. So a man by the name of Rafael Cruz, that's Ted Cruz's father. He was a immigrant who fled Cuba at the age of 18 in the year 1957. Yeah, it's all true. Okay. Root Tracker said Cubans claim white because it doesn't claim them. Or they claim white, but it doesn't claim them. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. RK said he's an immigrant from Canada. Yes, beloved. Can I get to the story? Can I finish the story? Okay. Don't try to correct me until I'm done. All right? I'm getting to that. So as I said, his father fled to the U.S. from Cuba at the age of 18 in 1957. Now, they had a family friend who was an attorney, and this nefarious attorney helped his father to basically circumvent the immigration policies and whatnot. They paid off a Cuban official so that his father, Rafael Cruz, could get an exit stamp on his passport to get the hell up out of there. Okay? So then he came to the United States. He bypassed immigration rules, as I said, and he entered the U.S. on a 4-year student visa. Then he signed up and enrolled at University of Texas. So then when his visa ended, he still stayed. Okay? He remained here illegally. He ended up marrying a citizen, and the two of them, after they got married, they moved to Alberta, Canada. That was around, I want to say 1980 or 1970, somewhere around there. I can't recall. But anyway, I think it was around 1970. So anyway, they moved to Alberta, Canada. Okay? And with that all being said, my thing is Ted Cruz, for him to be sitting here talking about he wants to be against anchor babies. I just find it interesting. Okay? I find it all interesting, knowing his little immigration story. Okay? I find that all very interesting. So anyway, Steve said, did he apply for citizenship? No. His father was here illegally and then married a citizen. That's what he did. Okay? And then moved to Canada. Hotel Sahadi said, don't worry, Ted's ICE ticket out of there is at the bottom of the said his ICE ticket is at the bottom of the pile. Okay, I hope it is. The Leo said, ending birthright citizenship, even though they are immigrants, is crazy work. Something is wrong with them people. That's what I'm trying to tell you, beloved. The thing that it is they don't care about their own people's best interest. But then they want to get mad at black folk and say we're the ones getting them deported. No, we're not. They're getting themselves deported because they're the ones who voted for Trump. And now Trump is doing exactly what he promised. They just didn't think it was going to affect them. Like that African told Cynthia, the hot mom, did you think it was just going to be for us? Yeah, that's what they thought. They didn't give a darn about the Africans. They didn't give a darn about any of the black immigrants. Okay. They only cared about themselves and thinking they're not going to get put out of here. Okay. Because they've had this long lasting relationship with the U.S. government to where they don't just boot them out of here. But did they forget that Obama changed all of that right before he left office? Or did they not even know? They may not even have known some of them, because some people don't pay attention to the laws that are passed. They give a darn about legislation. Okay, I mean, that girl who said that her father had, stage 4 colon cancer and is about to be deported, she said that before she voted for Trump, she didn't even educate herself on his policies specifically surrounding immigration. How dumb is that? Why would you not? When you're a whole immigrant, why would you not inform yourself about his immigration policies and all of his other policies? Now, either she's lying or she's insidiously obtuse. Neither of which is a good mix, okay? Is neither of which is good, if you ask me. So anyway, I don't know what to tell them. Okay, I don't know what to tell them, beloved. Anyway, let's go to this last story about a migrant named Cabrera. So this is when he is being taken into custody after suburban arrest. Okay, everyone, please like and share. We're about to be out of here. We're almost done, guys. I'll likely be back later.
Operation Midway Blitz, the Department of Homeland Security's enhanced immigration enforcement across the Chicago area. Since it started last month, DHS says hundreds of people have been detained, sparking outrage and fear. Now those detained have an unexpected ally, a former assistant chief immigration judge for Chicago, fired by Trump's DOJ, now representing those the administration hopes to deport.
It felt very unreal.
It was Friday, October 3rd, when Ramiro Cabrera, owner of Cabrera Rental Center, was setting up a tent for a business in Crestwood. In the surveillance footage obtained by the I-Team, you can see a white van pull up, federal agents exit, and in less than 3 minutes, Cabrera and his nephew are gone. His family shocked when they saw this video.
That's my father. That's my dad. He was at work. It felt very like dehumanizing, seeing the way they just kind of grabbed him.
The moment they put him in a van, we didn't know where he was going.
Cabrera has lived in the U.S. undocumented for more than 20 years and has 4 American children, including Fernanda and Mariana. Their father has no criminal record, according to court declarations, and he remains in ICE custody.
His absence is definitely felt. He has his specific spot on our couch at home, and seeing it empty every night, it's heartbreaking.
But the Cabreras had help, with experience coming straight from the bench.
We filed a petition in federal court.
Meet Cabrera's attorney, former assistant chief immigration judge Jennifer Payton.
Oh my God.
The I-Team was there when Payton packed up her office after she was abruptly fired from helping lead Chicago's immigration court this past July. She says no reason was given. Now she's representing the kind of clients she used to rule on. Do you think the administration is acting with impunity here?
Oh, 100%. And as an immigration judge, I would hear cases where respondents told me about their government's act with impunity, and now I'm seeing it myself.
Examples of impunity, Payton says, include how the Broadview ICE Processing Center is used. That's where Cabrera was taken and where most, if not all, migrants detained by ICE in the Chicago area pass through.
My client that was taken there told me that they're so overrun with detainees that they're sleeping inside the bathrooms on the floors. They're not offered showers. They're held there for multiple days. People upon people upon people. With no access to counsel.
We just want to go in and look at this facility and see what the conditions are, and they will not let us in.
Lawmakers were recently turned away from the Broadview Center after requesting a tour of the facility.
I've never had this kind of stonewalling by any presidential administration. Something's going on in there that they don't want us to see.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security did not respond to questions about lawmakers being denied access to the Broadview facility. A spokesperson rejected claims of subprime conditions, telling the I-Team, quote, ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with lawyers and their family members. In court filings tied to Cabrera's case, Payton writes, quote, Broadview is a black hole. When my clients are there, I am unable to speak to them or contact them.
And ICE officers, I've said, can I visit? No, you can't. Can I make phone calls in? No, you can't.
We got one phone call for about maybe 1 minute, just saying where he was. And just his voice was just so shaken.
Cabrera was eventually transferred to an ICE detention facility in Indiana. Later this week, Payton will argue before a federal judge that Cabrera's detention was an unlawful violation of due process and an incorrect interpretation of immigration law. The government plans to contest that. His daughter, Mariana, remains hopeful her father will be home to see his grandchildren.
I have 2 kiddos with another one on the way. It's been heartbreaking for the oldest is 3, and for us to go to Abuelo's house and to not see Abuelo.
The Cabrera's attorney plans to challenge a recent decision made in immigration court banning bond hearings for any undocumented persons arrested who were unauthorized to be in the country. That hearing is scheduled for Thursday.
All right, so you all heard. You all heard that. Now, Skeletor fan, I like your nerve talking about. I sure hope Lisa isn't related to them. Laughing my ass off. Well, I'll have you know, Lisa is not related to them. Okay, please sit down somewhere and leave my dear sister Lisa Cabrera out of it. So nefarious. Okay, so with that all being said, listen. Hold on, sis. I feel bad now, but if it was us, they would be happy. Okay, if it was Black people, they would be so happy if it was Black American. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Okay, they literally voted for this man. Many of these people, like I said, crying now and having buyer's remorse, literally voted for Trump. Don't you all remember? Don't you all remember? Hold on, let me see something here. I could have sworn, beloveds. Hold on, let me just double check something real quick. Hold on. Here it is right here. Listen, y'all know they was all down for Trump. They cannot be mad at anyone other than themselves, okay? They didn't care about their own people.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's go! Latino for Trump. I will vote for Donald. Dale cintura, cintura, cintura. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Y'all saw it, honey. It's all a mess. And did you see what the caption said? The Supreme Court allows the Trump administration to suspend deportation protection for 500,000 Cubans. 500,000. Y'all heard that? But they were singing it, honey. I will vote for Donald Trump. You know what they said? They should have never. They should have never tried it, honey, okay? They should have never tried it. All right, now they're crying. And Trump doesn't give a darn. Okay? Trump does not give a darn. All right? Hotep Sahadi said, you want reparations, don't you? Well, get ready to reclaim your land. All right? Anyway, with that all being said, let me get out of here. Claudia said, Queen, you got me hollering. Okay, so listen, I'm out of here. Leon said, even with their children in cages. Exactly. It's also sad. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. And then you heard the man, the one whose daughter was on the phone listening to the hearing. And the man said that the United States was supposed to be about liberty and freedom and stuff like that or whatever. Honey, that's all lies and BS. See, that's what they tell people to get them to want to come here. Not illegally, mind you, but prior to Trump being in office, definitely. That was the thing they sold to people, that America was the home of the dreams. Okay, the home of the land of the free and the home of the brave. And it's where you can, have the American dream. and all that. Isn't that what they said? But now that dream is turned into a whole nightmare. And Trump and his administration are dead set on getting rid of as many black and brown people out of this country as possible, because they know that the projection is that by the year 2040, which isn't that far away, that's 15 years. So they know that the projection is that by the year 2040, this will be a predominantly black and brown town. Okay, it's going to be mostly brown people in the United States, and the Caucasian people will no longer be the majority. That's what's projected. And they want to stop that because they fear that their power will wane. If they're not the majority, they feel like they may lose power, lose control, can't keep their foot on everybody else's necks. So that's why they're doing all of this, in case you missed it. Okay, that's just my assessment. That's exactly what I believe. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And I will probably come back later, but it's going to be probably around 8:30 or 9. Okay, around 8:30 or 9 if I do come back. All right, so until then, enjoy the rest of this day, and I will talk to you all again soon. All right? Peace.
Yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got